Evening, folks. Hope we're doing well. How are we all getting on? Big match this weekend. Leeds United versus West Ham back on Ellen Road under the lights, and a massive opportunity Leeds to maybe ease a little bit of the pressure and stress that's been floating around the place over the last couple of days. Going up against the West Ham side, who are, well, have their own sets of problems. Their manager describing them as having anxiety after their defeat to Brentford in a game where they looked really poor. So for Leeds, chance to get back onto winning ways, chance to put some of the poorer results behind us and focus on the positives. There's a lot of good stuff going on around Leeds United right now. If we could just finish our dinner and keep the back door closed. And the mind what Joe Wayman says there, it's about the attack and about the defense. It's about both. But yeah, a bit of stuff to get stuck into tonight. As per normal with the stats pack, we will do the form guide for both sides, home and away, coming into this game. We look at both team news for West Ham and Leeds United. I'm not sure news is a word. We'll also look at some key statistics, as well as getting into predicted lineups, as well as what we'd like to do as well. And a couple of things you want to see and look out for as Leeds return home this Friday night for what could be and should be a fantastic opportunity. If you're a side that has anxiety coming to Ellen Road on a Friday night under the floodlights, that should absolutely terrify you. There's 117 watching currently so far. If you could stick a like on the video. One of the things we did find out about the YouTube change is that the liking of the content and commenting is the two massive things that you can help to make sure that we can keep going forward. But we're not going anywhere. We've had a good look at it. I've looked at 12 months worth of Excel data today. We're going nowhere. We're going to push through, and we're going to at least get to December. We'll see where we are then. But at the moment, the plan is to continue moving forward as we are. So we'll hop into the chat real quickly, and we'll do this in and out of your comments are down below, but I'll have to remove them at certain points. But just to have a quick jump in, thanks for the raid, Joe. Really appreciate it. Andy, first in and first comment. That's very big, that banner, isn't it? Let's make that a bit smaller. There we go. That's much more tolerable than that huge big one. So yeah, Andy's here. Sly in the house as well. It's for get that to defense. It's a bit of everyone. We talked about this on the stream during the week. For me, there's plenty of fingers to be pointed around the place. There's fingers to be pointed at the ownership for not completing the team and not getting all the people that we in. There's fingers definitely to be pointed at Daniel Farke about not being flexible enough and not using this squad and not rotating enough. And then there's definitely fingers to be pointed at the playing staff on the pitch as well, not taking enough accountability and doing the basics wrong at times, which has caused Leeds more of the problems than anything else. And as I say, big shout out to Joe and thank you for the raid as well. Rob's in the house as well as Michael. Rad Music Chat, good evening to you. Clive, good evening. Steve as well. Plenty of people saying hello. Hope you're all having a good week so far. There's a lot of stuff to get stuck into. We won't take too long. But evening, Jer, still in Morrison's and the bread oil. Well, I'll keep my voice down so I don't upset everybody else doing their shopping. Jer, would you go as far to say this is a must-win? This is a must-win. Absolutely. But I will caveat it and add more context to it. It's a must-win in as far as if we don't win some of the next three games, what comes after the international break, could be very difficult to pick points. So Leeds have got to get minimum 6 points for me in the next three games in order to make what comes afterwards a little bit more palatable, because there's not a huge amount of points that we picked up by Leeds United in December. So, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe Leeds will be better against the more trickier sides, the more difficult sides than the lesser teams. We have to find out. Good news. Yes, not going anywhere. We're staying. We're going nowhere. We're going nowhere. Anthony, evening, Jer. I'm worried about tomorrow night's game. We normally help teams who are, but Jerry McNamee describes it as Dr. Leeds. Having a bad run of form, here comes Dr. Leeds to make it better. I think it's changed. We've got a chance here. I think we should go after it. John Johansson, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. As Danny says, smash the like button. That will do it. That will get us exactly where we need to be. If you're watching on demand, there's a little hype button. You can press that as well. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel as well. We've just gone over 72,000 subscribers. So we're going in the right direction. We're ignoring what's going on with YouTube. We're going to try and fix what we can fix. But now, let's get into some statistics and some data. So we will dip in and out of the chat, as I say. In the meantime, you can see your comments in the bottom, but I'll get some stuff up on screen to talk about it. Let's start off tonight and let's talk about form guide for both these sides coming in to tomorrow night's game. Leeds United is the home side, and we'll start with them first. Leeds have played 8 so far this season, won 2, drawn 2, and lost 4. We've scored 7 goals, which isn't bad, but a concession of 13 goals. 5 of them did come against Arsenal, but we've also shipped 2 goals per game in our last 3. Daniel Farke didn't want to talk about that. He wanted to focus on not having the offensive personnel that he wants in his side. But for me, we've also got to look at the back door as well and make sure we stop conceding goals as easily as we have to very little chances. We have limited sides to few chances, but they have been scoring them, and that needs to stop. Last 5 games for Leeds, 3 losses, 1 draw, and 1 win. A win on the board would be very, very nice to have and take a bit of pressure off Daniel Farke. From a home form perspective and looking at the home form table, Leeds pretty much sit 16th across the board on all tables, but in the home form, we've played 4 games this season. We've won 1, lost 1, and drawn 2. It would be nice to get another win on the board. And as I say, 16th in that form table. 0 goal difference at home, scored 4, conceded 4. From a West Ham perspective, they've played 8 games in total this season. They've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 6 games, which is absolutely massive, sitting 19th in the league table. In their last 5, they haven't won a single game. They've drawn once, lost 4, and their away form, they played 4, won 1, drawn 1, and lost 2, scored 4, conceded 6. They're sitting 10th, funnily enough, in the away table. For their players, the ones that Leeds want to be keeping an eye on in this game, obviously Lucas Paqueta is probably my most dangerous player. But Jared Bowen is their top goal scorer coming into this game with 3 goals. And all the eyes will be on a returning Crescencio Somerville, who has only scored once for West Ham since he joined them. Probably means he's guaranteed to score at Ellen Road. He did like scoring on Friday nights in Ellen Road. So hopefully we can keep them as quiet as we possibly can and focus on what Leeds have to do coming into this game. But it's a massive opportunity for Leeds to get 3 points on the board. I said it on Joe Wayman's stream earlier on. I'm not here to talk about giving opposition teams respect, and they're established sides, and we should respect that. I'm not about that life. Leeds need to upset the apple cart. Leeds need to make these teams feel what it's like to come to Ellen Road. Get in their face, be aggressive, and be intense whenever they can. Move the ball quickly as well. We'll get to that when we talk about what we need to do in this game. But those are the key things. If Leeds can do that right, and Leeds can move that ball quickly around the final third, they'll get their opportunities. And then it's just a case of finishing your dinner, lads. Finally put the ball in the back of the net when you get these chances. We'll see what everyone's thinking so far just on team news. Rob is saying, new channel idea, rotation. Replaces tempo, I suppose. Nearly ready to check out, lol. Just got the Cocoa Pops. Good choice. West Ham have played out 2-0 to Leeds. Have players out 2-0 to Leeds. Yeah, they've got a couple out as well. We've got a couple of late checks. Hello to Danny. Everyone's having the chat. Patrick Lee says, Jared, do you think if we had a fully fit Solomon, he would make a difference? Well, he would right now because we don't have enough wide players. But I think when everybody's fit, Noah Okafor was seen as the upgrade. I think he's been very good for Leeds when he has been fit. We need to get him back in that side. But yeah, they did miss out on one final player. Apparently, the reason we didn't get Solomon was Leeds were convinced that whether or not their deal was done, so decided not to push forward with Solomon. And then that fell apart pretty quickly. We'll be spending the Harry Gray to Spurs money in the next window. Nah, not just yet. Tempo. We need to get, yep, absolutely. You know where I sit on this. Yeah, Paul, agree with you on this. I would definitely go with a 3-5-2. I think we've got more players that can fit that, and it's not a massive learning curve for most of these players. A lot of them play for their international side, but he won't do it. So we got to focus on what he will do. Daniel will say it's a must not lose. For me, it's a must win. Maybe Farke 49ers should sponsor some of the YTRSs, the youths, the expertise. Service rendered might be good PR move. Maybe, well, they are involved with some local people as well. We'd be more clinical and bury the chances in the back of the net. Yeah, we absolutely do. Farke won't be sacked if we lose to West Ham. No. But he might be sacked if he loses the next 3. That would be a problem. Leeds are looking at that 1 point per game average that we're looking at. And right now we're bang on that. We need to get 3 points in these next couple of games because when you come out of that, you will lose that point per game when you play the bigger side. So it's important to have that buffer where you can. Saka Farke will cost money. He's on £3 million a year, but he's in the final year of his deal. But something Leeds won't sit around and wait. They just can't. But as I said, Paul made a very good point. There are rungs to a ladder on sacking a manager. Love the manager back and fully, sack the manager. Along that way, there's probably 10 more steps in there. And he's definitely at the point of needs to make some changes to take the pressure off. It gets a win. A lot of that goes away. Best Leeds channel. I well appreciate that. Lifesaver for us from afar, Canada here. There's lots of people from all over the world. So I really appreciate everyone who watches the channel. I'm far from respecting the opposition. Just, yep, absolutely. 100%. Let's get at them. If the boss going to stick with some of the same starting lineup, we'll get to that in a few minutes. My uncle's a West Ham fan, talked highly of Somerville Juve combo on the left-hand side. Juve has good crossing in him. Yeah, we got to limit that as well. We'll get to that. Talk about minimizing crosses and opportunities in the box as well. But let's move on. Let's talk about the team news coming into the game. We'll start off with Leeds United and some late checks here. We've got Noah Okafor and Willie Gnonto. Daniel Farke says will be late checks coming into the game. Let's hope Willie Gnonto is past that hernia operation that he's had and can be fit to play. Pascal Struijk and Ethan Ampadu were ill in midweek. They had a flu. It's been going around. So there will be late checks on them. And maybe the fact that Ampadu and Stroke have a bit of an illness, maybe this is the opportunity to bring in a Yakabial or an Tanaka into that side. But it will be an interesting one to see what he does when it does come to that starting 11. Part of me feels he won't change. Part of me feels he'll be forced to change, but we'll see how we go. From a West Ham perspective, they are definitely missing 3. Nicholas Fulkrug is out, which funnily enough, some West Ham fans will be happy about. He's not been getting a huge amount of praise from the media side of the West Ham support over the last couple of weeks. George Ertley in the middle, he's also out of the squad. And more importantly for them, Konstantinos Mavropanos is also out of that game, and that will be a bigger loss to them than probably the other 2 that are missing from the game. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what Leeds end up doing. If Leeds can get Okafor and Nanto fit and available, that changes that attacking dynamic completely from a Leeds perspective. We want to make sure we've got those options and create as many chances as we possibly can. I felt Dominic Calvert-Lewin against Burnley was very isolated. Our wingers were incredibly wide. They didn't get in close enough to him. He was feeding off scraps, didn't really have that many clear-cut opportunities. He has missed them when he's gotten them early this season. But in this 4-3-3 system, if you're going to play with a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when the ball goes up to him, the wingers have got to come in field. One's got to go beyond them. One's got to show short and receive the ball from him. Give him options to use his height, his physicality, and his ability in the air. And just play closer and tighter together. Same for the midfielders, playing into his feet. They've got to get up and support him as well. Look for layoffs as well. No point in having a big man up there if you're just going to give him the ball and leave him on his own. Doesn't work like that. You've got to support it and see how we get on. We'll get into some statistics coming into this game because there is some interesting bits. Some of these will surprise you. You're going to hear a couple of names that are going to bring back a little bit of PTSD. You'll understand it when you see it. We'll start off with the first one. And in the last 6 meetings, West Ham have won 4 against Leeds United. But the last time Leeds won was a 3-2 away win in January 2022. A Jack Harrison hat-trick. So let's hope he can repeat that feat when he plays on Friday night. In the most recent meeting between the two sides, Leeds lost 3-1 in May 2023. Rodrigo was Leeds United's scorer on that day. Leeds' joint heaviest ever defeat in the club's history came against West Ham. Leeds lost 8-2 in February of 1922. Leeds were 2-all at halftime, conceded 6 goals in the second half in that. Of the 26 previous meetings between these two sides, Leeds have 16 wins. West Ham have just got 6. So the modern form has been very much in West Ham's favour. The historical form has been in Leeds, and we'll hope that that swings back towards Leeds in this match. Leeds have avoided going behind in the first half at Ellen Road in the last 18 of 20 matches at home at Ellen Road. And that's important because Leeds have conceded 7 times first this season, and they'll need to make sure they can stop that because that has been a massive problem, having to come from behind in games. We want to make sure we can shut the back door, as I keep saying, and make sure that that doesn't continue to happen. Here's the one that's going to upset you probably a little bit. Leeds are looking for their first home win against the Hammers in the Premier League since February 2003. And that goal came in that game. The winner came from Seth Johnson in that match. The man that was, I don't know, the butt of a lot of frustration around the issues that Leeds had under Peter Ridsdale. And the last player to be sent off for Leeds in this fixture at Ellen Road was a certain Lee Chapman, who was sent off on his second debut for Leeds United in January 12th, 1996. It was a great year. I was 15 years of age then. I remember that game. I remember Chappie coming back as well. I like Lee Chapman. I'm 6'4". I'm a striker. I liked an awful lot about Lee Chapman. Thanks to Andrew Statt-Dawson for those statistics as well. And he will be putting out more on this day content on the shorts on the channel over the next couple of weeks and months as well. You can check them out on a TikTok channel as well as on our YouTube shorts. But let's have a little chat then about what's expected from this Leeds United side going into this game. But actually, before we get to that, let's have a look at the lineups. Let me know what you change in the chat, and we'll pull them up and have a quick chat of them. But yeah, this is what I think Daniel Farke will do. Funnily enough, unless his hand is forced, I think the backline will remain the same. I think Gerald Darlow will stay in goal. And I think the midfield will be Ampadu, Longstaff, and out Tanaka has to come in for Anton Stack in this match to give Leeds some form of attacking threat. And also, he's just a bit tighter in possession. He keeps the ball better. He moves it better for me. And he's an important player. I would have him in there as soon as we can. I think unless he's got good news in the wide areas, I think it'll be Jack Harrison and Brendan Aronson with DCL up top. The Harrison connection that will continue for this game. Personal choice, if I was picking the team, I would change the system, but knowing that most don't change the system at this point of the season, and I understand reasons why they don't do that, I would be bringing Yakabial for Pascal Struijk at this point. I think I'll be bringing in out Tanaka for Anton Stack. And then I think if you've got the wide players, if you can get a Willie Gnonto, Dan James, and Noah Okafor in the park, you've got to get them on the pitch as well. And there's conversations to be had about Lucas Mecha at some point as well. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin's not taking his chances, didn't get them against Burnley, if he's not taking his chances, then Leeds will need to have a bit of more of a deeper look at that and maybe start looking at replacing players. And also the usage of the squad in general, substitutions, being proactive. If it's not working, change it early. Let's not sit in our hands till 68, 70 minutes before we make a very obvious change in like for like, or stick all the strikers up front together. Like Joe Piro's come on, and it's not Joe Piro's fault. He doesn't fit this system, but he's come on in games and just looked like a lost puppy running around in the final third. And I want to see him up there with somebody else and feeding off of players. So yeah, for me, that's important. I think possession, massively important, that we turn that possession into goals and clear goal scoring opportunities for Leeds. That's going to be massively important, and take those chances when we get them as well. Brendan Aronson should have scored against Burnley. Jaden Bogle's slightly trickier one. He's a defender, but still probably for me should score on that goal. As I say, wingers are a bit too wide for me. They need to be narrower. They need to get closer to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as they did at the beginning of this season. And that will help an awful lot with feeding him and working off him and giving people opportunities. Defensive concentration is a huge part coming into this game for me. Got to start blocking crosses. There's too many free balls getting delivered into the penalty area. It's an easy thing to cut out. Get out to the man, force him back, like we did against Everton, like we did against Newcastle. I'm starting to sound like a broken record. It's starting to annoy me as well. So if it's annoying you, I'm right there with you. But it's a fact. We've got to get back to that and limit the amount of opportunities they give these sides. Keep the ball, be tidy. No sloppy passes that lead to counterattacks. Got to be tidier on the ball. And then keep hold of, and then when we do get our chances, speed it up. Leeds have been too pedestrian, too predictable. There was opportunities and times during the Burnley game where Leeds came out with the ball, and when you looked across the park, players were standing in position still. There's got to be more movement off the ball. They've got to try and create gaps, move the opposition around the pitch a little bit, create opportunities to try and get chances to score goals. And the more opportunities they create, the better chance they have of scoring goals. But as we say, it's an important game. It's a massive game for Leeds United. They've got to go into this hoping and going out of their way at least to be on the front foot and try and get 3 points in this game. I'll jump back into the chat real quick. We'll see what everyone is saying. Paul says, all the stats, all the shots get you in and out if you can't score the goals. It's true. It's true. Statistics give you kind of an indication of whether you're doing the right things or not. The goals will tell you if you're finishing them off or not. So there's a bit of both, but yeah, I do take that point. On a mooch, if we did sack Farke, who's available? Everyone. Big bag of cash does an awful lot. And I said this on the podcast. When people talk about sacking the manager, the first question they'll get told, well, who comes in? There's plenty of managers. There's lots of really good Gallardo's available. Lemur Senior's doing very well in France. There's plenty of managers. They're just two. I'm not saying we should hire them. I'm just saying there's lots of them around the place. Premier League teams sack and hire managers all the time. There are plenty of them out there if you're creative enough. We got Bielsa once. Big bag of cash will go a long way. Not saying we should sack the manager, but I'm saying if it gets to that point, there are options. Of course there are. Farke won't make any changes unless due to injuries or illness. Hopefully Dan James starts and would like to see outcome in. Yeah, I'm right there with you as well. Paul says we need as many points as possible for December. That December is in a nutshell is brutal. It is. It's a brutal looking run of fixtures. A couple of surprises in there though could be really good. Like we might end up coming out with that higher than our points per game total that we're looking for because we might get a couple of shocks, especially games at Ellen Road. They're going to be important to pick up something along the way. If Okafor isn't fit, would you put DJ on the left and Aronson right? No, I keep DJ on the right. He's better. He's just more natural there. Aronson, I actually wouldn't mind moving him to the left, let him come in onto his right foot a little bit more, and it kind of works on that stronger foot in that number 10 position that he's played before for Leeds. But ideally get Willie Gnonto out there as well. Got to go 3-5-2. He won't. But I agree. Play DJ wide left. Okafor and Gnonto are not fit if he's played there for Wales. Yeah, he has played there, but I think he's better on his, and especially with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, DJ on his right hand side, deliver crosses in for the big man to score the goals. That's why he's there. DJ cutting into his right foot from the left wouldn't be terrible. No, it wouldn't be, but I think he's better cutting to left foot for shots and then right foot for crossing. You know, he made a difference when he came on against Burnley. That should be said. DCL has the experience to get goals from scraps. He just isn't managing at least. Not at the moment, but, you know, early days, yeah. Farke spends far too much time sitting on his arse. Get up and get at them. I think he's kind of done his job once they cross the white line. Then it goes down to player responsibility. You've got to start pointing fingers at the players as well. And what I want to see is some accountability from the players. When it's not going our way, who's going to grab hold of the players? Who's grabbing hold of the team? Who's trying to push us on and change what's happening? You see Joe Rodon regularly telling them to do more, but that has to be across the park. And it's been a bit quiet for me and a bit calm on the park. Chapman Wallace worked well. DCL Pirro, yeah. It's tough to get two players up front, but I think we don't have a lot of options out wide right now. We do have a lot of defenders and we do have a lot of strikers. So, you know, you can work around that. Short time, Dominic and Joel Pirro have played together. They seem to click the short time. Yeah, they did. DCL and Pirro partnership could be a key. He's got to figure out a way of getting the best out of Joel Pirro. Leeds lost 8-2 to West Ham in 1922 past that delusion of the blame that on Farke as well. He's not to blame for everything, but he is to blame for something. Players aren't to blame for everything, but they are to blame for some things. The board aren't to blame for everything, but they are to blame for some things. There is equal accountability to be shared around the place. Interesting history bears absolutely zero influence on them. I know it does, but it also makes the stats portion of the show completely redundant if we don't try and put them in there. But yeah, it does. If you were 15 during that game, or 6, 17, yeah, we were young. God, great futures ahead of us. Jer, we do have a bag of cash. For a manager, you do. It's not a PSR situation, so you do have a bag of cash for a manager. God, we were shy against Villa. Yeah, we were. My brother's a Villa fan as well. He reminds me of that regularly. Then if Farke talking about being more flexible than reacting to the opposition, and he hasn't. Yeah, that's true. He has to be more flexible. Proactive. Change things before the opposition get a chance to do it. It's a must-win game tomorrow night. No excuses. Let's get you through 100 likes, folks. It'd be great if you get to 1,000 likes. That'd be brilliant. We'll start small, though. True about the players, but Daniel Farke is responsible for substitutions and picking the team. Yeah, they all are. Again, as I say it, equal accountability across the board. Does Farke know his best team? I don't know. Does Lucas Perry come back in for this game? I know not everyone was sold on him after the first couple of games, but I think we knew the shortcomings in Perry's game coming in was that he probably wasn't great with his feet. But his job is to stop the ball going in the back of the net. And it's probably harsh, but you could argue that Carl Darlow possibly could have done a little bit better. I didn't like hearing the goal scorer for the second goal for Burnley saying that when he turned around to look, he didn't believe the Leeds goalkeeper was set and ready. So he had a shot, goes in the back of the net. So got to be tuned in. That's not just Darlow, that's everyone across the board. You mentioned there are plenty of good managers we could have if Farke goes, but we still have the same players on board. Yeah, I know that, but different managers get different things out of different players. That's why you change it. Daniel Farke plays a certain type of football, pragmatic football. Other coaches don't, so there's plenty of options. Jerry, I'm seriously worried about Farke's lack of changeability. His subs, his tactics. If 4-2-3 doesn't work, then he puts on 3. Yeah, he did it with the 4-2-3-1 as well. But that's Daniel Farke's way of doing things. And there's nothing unusual about that. I don't want to hammer the man for no reason. There's nothing unusual about that. Lots of managers are married to their systems and married to their ways of playing. They believe in it. They get the result this weekend. If he gets a couple of wins in the next 3, pressure goes away. Yes, to Perry. I would love to see some possession on the side, some passion on the sideline from Farke. Has been there. He's been annoyed a bit, but then you want to see him do something about that. I said it on Joe's show. The players aren't doing the job for you. Stop picking them. Pick different players. There has to be accountability. If they're not doing their job, drop them. Drop them. Simple as that. We want to win. We need to win. Does Farke get the road if he loses? I don't think he gets the road in this game. As I say, I think if he doesn't win, I think if he loses the next 3, it's probably an easy conversation because the international break. I think if he picks up some results in the next couple of games, he'd probably say, I don't think he's under as much pressure internally as he possibly is externally. But a couple of wins changes the narrative, as I keep saying. I play Perry. Darren needs to rest his drive. I have backed Daniel from day one and wanted him to succeed at Leeds United. He's bloody stubborn. He is. And we all want our manager to do well, because if our manager does well, the team is doing well. But there is points where you've got to start being a little bit critical of certain things that they do. I still think Perry would have got his fingers to the second shot, unlike Darlow. I have this as 4 or 5-0 to Leeds, but no idea why. Kev, I'm going 2-0 Leeds. That's where my head's at. Perry has a good throw in him. He can't kick the ball. That's his problem. The price of eggs now is outrageous. It's a good question. Even JD, how are you well, man? Everyone else, I'm not panicking yet. We are making chances, just not taking them. Yeah, and that's fine for right now, but that does have a shelf life like eggs. That does have a shelf life on it as well. Need to bring back the intensity. Yes, I agree. More aggressiveness needed. Karen says, West Ham fan here. Coral, apologies. We're in such a state. No way we get anything out of the game tomorrow against Leeds. Fans can rest easy. It's the game Leeds will lose. Dr. Leeds here to fix your form. But yeah, hopefully, the Cats will get to them. This will be the start of a problem if we lose. Still got to realize Farke got loads in. Yeah, he did. Short time international break didn't help. But that's the same for every single team. That's not a Leeds United issue that goes across the board, but he needs to fix a couple of bits and pieces. Going 1-0 either way. Okay. Do we see Harry Gray coming on? I think he plays a part. I think he's probably on the bench after signing his new deal. Joking aside, keep Callum Wilson and Somerville quiet. We all know what they can do. We may be in with a chance. Oh, yeah, Harrison to score a hat-trick. You started that with joking aside and finished it with Harrison to score a hat-trick, Brendan. We need a positive manager. Impressors. Yeah, I understand the need to be respectful. You don't want to do the team talk for the opposition, but I want a bit of aggression from Leeds. I want us to be a bit more, aggressive. We're seeing here Mancini, Southgate. Whoa, Southgate and you're getting pretty much a lot of the same. I think it does. Unfortunately, Farkas not Premier League standard. Not still yet to be proven. Still yet to be proven. Justin, right back, Bogle, right wing. Why not? It's a different kind of a position. Fullback starting at right wing and starting right back is very different. At right back, the whole game is in front of him. At right wing, he has to change his body shape. He's receiving the ball from behind him instead of in front of him. There's little nuances to it. They're not that straightforward, but going to a wing back system would work perfectly. Not scoring goals is a bad habit to get into and a tough one to break. Same with conceding goals every game. It becomes a habit. Are West Ham protesting their home games only? It would appear so. It would appear so. Yeah, the hardcore are coming away. What is being said is right. I said last season that we were wasteful with our chances. We had this actually, Pierre. We had this conversation last year about creating too many chances, and it's a different group of players. Same issue. We did well with Rutter. Had a free role, non-total play. We had fun players, exciting players. This is a workman-like Leeds United side, not a fluid, exciting side. Carl says Kevin yet sit-in planned for Newcastle game in November. But not in away games. Folks, I think we'll start to wind it down there. Head towards 26 minutes. Massive thanks to everyone that is watching the content, supporting the channel during a tricky period with YouTube. All you've got to do to support the channel, like the videos, stick a comment down below. If we get enough people doing that, I've looked at all the data. The data suggests that the likes and the comments will do enough that the views won't even matter. So if you can do that, that would be massively appreciated. We'll do that. I really appreciate everyone for supporting us. And I'm going to keep going. We're not walking away from this. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep going. Lots of exciting things ahead. Get a win tomorrow night. A lot changed. We will have a watch along over on bigup.com as well. If you want to go check that out, there's no ads, there's no interruptions. It's free to join us. We do a fantasy competition every single week over there between the two sides. Pick 5 players from those two sides. So if you want to get involved in that, we'll be on bigup.com. Search the Leeds View. Sign up. It's free. I'll be live tomorrow, half an hour before kickoff, to have the game myself and Joe Blackburn. And we will do a bit of commentary, a bit of crack, a bit of laugh, I say a bit of crack. Every time we try and enjoy ourselves, Leeds concede. So we'll see how we get on with that. But yeah, massive thanks to everyone for supporting us and watching the show. I really, really appreciate it. Back tomorrow morning with the news. You can check out today's news as well if you want the update on the Ellen Road situation, as well as the withdrawing of the invite for Andrea Radrazani to Ellen Road this Friday night. So you can check all that out in today's news. If you haven't watched it, stick a like on the video for today as well if you can. Outside that, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. See ya. Bye.